Hello everyone, we're so sorry that you're not here with us and for this just kind of strange year, but we thought that it would be really fun for us to just walk through the school. I'll take you on sort of a virtual tour, and this will be sort of, for some it'll be a little bit of nostalgia, and for others it's just going to see what we've done to the school over the years. I would say right now, Duchesne looks amazing. I'm just so proud of how well maintained the school has been. So over the past 20 years, Duchesne really has seen a growth in its enrollment, in our enrollment. Right now we're at about 340 young women in the academy, and we have about 63 little ones in our preschool. And the preschool, of course, is co-ed. So we needed more space. We needed more office rooms. We needed a bigger faculty room. And so this part, in about 2003, these two buildings, which were already connected, we just expanded it out a bit to connect these to make offices, meeting space, faculty room, and some classrooms. And it really connected and made it easier to go from kind of the main building over to the west part of the building. So let's head inside up to Portree and continue the tour. So here we are inside of Portree. All of this here is newer, probably in 2003 when all of this was done. This was built. When I was here in the 80s, we used to have Mrs. Swassing as a portress, just a little table right over there. So this is much more welcoming. And as you can see this year, we have to have all sorts of COVID materials here to make sure that people are wearing masks. They have to sign in, take their temperature. There's some hand sanitizer, and really we're not letting anybody into the building other than faculty, staff, and students to keep our students safe. This hallway, which you've come up through Portree, you're on the first floor, and that will lead us to what we have renamed the Sister Joanne Fitzpatrick Grand Hall, AKA the Fitz. For some of you, that would be the Stewart Art Gallery, or there were different names. At one point, it was the College Lounge. So now that room has been dedicated and named in honor of Sister Joanne Fitzpatrick. One thing that is a goal of mine is to remember and recognize the RSCJs that were so meaningful to us throughout the building, naming rooms after them, telling their stories so that our girls know who they are. It's really, really important to me that we never lose the legacy of these brilliant women that educated so many of us. Here we are in our beautiful chapel, which all of you are very familiar with. It is much more beautiful and filled with life when we have our students here with us. Of course, that's not possible during this time, but when we are in a normal school year, we have a motto that we eat together and we pray together. And we come to this chapel once a week, either for a mass or a prayer service, and celebrate and thank God for all of our blessings. One really special piece in our chapel is this altar. This was given to us by Tom Quest when he retired after years as our director of facilities. And Tom, who is married to Judy Enenbach Quest, who was Academy 66, just great friends of Duchesne. Judy worked as our college counselor for years. And he made this for us. He took the last year he was with us and he made this altar. And you can see the wood on it is a parquet, which matches the floor in the chapel. And then Tom is a potterer, and he made that Sacred Heart piece by piece by piece, and it was all put together to create the Sacred Heart of Jesus and Mary. And we love it. It's so special to all of us, and especially special because of who made it. One thing that I really appreciate about Duchesne, and this has been forever at Duchesne, is that while we move forward, we always appreciate our past. And we know that we are standing on the shoulders of some really amazing women, and we never take that for granted. So one of the things that we have, and if you've been back to the school since your graduation, this has been up, is we keep a composite of every single class. So one that I, of course, have to focus on is our class of 1970, who would be celebrating their 50th reunion this year. And we're just really sorry that you're not able to do that in person, but we'll do something special for you next year. And then I always get a kick out of looking at my class too, 1983. But you know, you see the students looking through this a lot. Some of them have moms that went here to school, some of them have grandmas, and some didn't, and they just like to see who these people were. I think they really like to look at the hairstyles over the years. You are now in our study hall. This room, over the years, has been a study hall. I have to go back to the 80s. When I was here, this room was divided by panels, and it was 3 different classrooms. Now those panels were taken down and we're back into a study hall. There's a couple things to notice here. One is that we have the desks socially distanced. Normally these desks would be together and the girls would be working collaboratively. We also have some really great furniture that built for classrooms. Very conducive to the way teachers teach now. So our plan is to really get this into all of our classrooms. I'm sitting in an English classroom in a desk that I possibly sat in many years ago. And though it still is sturdy and strong, it really doesn't meet the needs of what our girls need today. So our plan is to replace these with furniture that is more conducive to the way teaching happens today. We're just about ready to enter into the STEAM lab, but before we go in there, I want to let you know that this room was dedicated to 2 science-minded, brilliant RSCJs who are not only sisters, or in their day mother, but they are biological sisters, Sister Mary and Catherine Henry. The girls call this the Dream Lab, Duchesne Research, Engineering, Art, and Media. Before I tell you a little bit about this room, let me tell you where you are in the building. This used to be the old stacks where we stored the books from the library. It was 2 different rooms. We had to take down a wall to really expand it. So now you know where you are. You can imagine we had maybe 2 plugs in each of the rooms, maybe 1. So we had to put electricity throughout so that we could charge up all the different things that we're using in here. We have a 3D printer, we have a design area where there's digital sewing and allowing the girls to do all sorts of creative design. We have a live wall over here. We have computers throughout, and we're doing coding and a number of other things on the computers, you know, including a lot of research. But the thing that I like about this room is really truly it's a place where girls can come and dream. We use design thinking in order to help them work through projects. and design something and take it all the way from the beginning to completion. And completion doesn't mean that it's perfect. Completion means that it's done, and if it didn't turn out perfectly, the whole goal is to go back and say, where did that go wrong, and figure it out. So there's no failure in this room. It is so exciting to see young women just really tapping in to their imagination, their creativity, and their minds. I am standing in a relatively new art room, and actually it's part of an art wing. If I think what this used to be, it probably was the living room of the RSCJs who lived in community on the 3rd floor. When the RSCJs sadly moved out, and of course we don't have any RSCJs here now, which is heartbreaking. When they moved out, this space was transitioned into an entire wing for art. So pottery, interior design, photography, oils, watercolors. And the beautiful thing is all of this art is displayed for everyone to see. The girls pass through here every day for their classes. I'm standing in the music room. This music room was not even available to us in the 80s. So this is all new. I think this room is fabulous. I was in the choirs as a student here, and we did not have a room like this with acoustics that are just perfect. We have many different choirs. We have a young and very enthusiastic director. And one of the first things that she did is she said, we need bigger risers. So I'm standing on one of those risers, and I know there was a group of alumni who came together and pitched in to help us purchase these for our swing choir and our other choirs. And I just need to tell you, they make a huge difference, and the girls love them. So thank you. When Sister Mary Pat Ryan retired, the auditorium was dedicated to Mary Pat Ryan, her sisters, and their mom. Their mom, Mary Caffrey Ryan, graduated from the college in 1927, had 5 daughters who all attended the college. So it just felt really natural when Sister Mary Pat was retiring from Duchesne to dedicate the auditorium to them, especially because Sister Mary Pat loved theater. When I was here, I know she was in a couple plays, and she helped to direct a couple plays, and we loved having her be part of that. Here we are in the auditorium. Next year, we will be celebrating the 140th season of Duchesne Theater in this space. Many of us have been in the musicals and the plays throughout the years. Great theater has taken place in here. This room, of course, has been used for 100 other things as well. You can see it really hasn't changed its style too much, but it has been improved. New flooring, new lighting, etc. But we know it can still be better. So we have plans to improve the seating, the theater space, and behind the theater space to just make it a really positive experience for our students. I'm standing in a relatively new entrance into Duchesne Academy. When you park in our parking lot on the southeast side of the campus, and we used to come in often on the east side of the building, now the students come in through this entrance, which goes into our Performing Arts Center, which then leads into our auditorium. The Performing Arts Center was built in 2013. It's absolutely beautiful and was built to really resemble the rest of the school, so it fits in beautifully. And we use this space for different events. Maybe we have little gatherings here, we have Children of Mary, we'll do faculty, staff retreats or professional development. Sometimes students do different things in here. It's just a really great, bright space. This is our gym, and we're very proud of it. We think it's very beautiful. But as our program grows, we realize that a gym that seats 300 fans and visitors is probably not big enough. It's also not big enough for us to have our different sports practicing at different times. So what's really exciting is we're planning to grow all of our athletic facilities to support our girls in these endeavors. I just took you around to give you some highlights of what's going on at Duchesne. You know how hard it would be to show you every nook and cranny. I guess there's a few things you should know. One, the fire escape no longer exists. Maybe I don't need to tell you anything else. When I returned to Duchesne 6 years ago, and I learned that, I do have to say my heart was just a little bit broken. The nuns don't live here anymore. We don't have the nuns' quarters to go to. So some things have changed, but so much has stayed the same. Duchesne is just, it's such a special place. There's such a strong sense of sisterhood here. These girls just, they take care of each other. And I tell them as much as I can, girls support girls. Continue to do that. Continue to support one another and grow together. And that's what we see. These young women are truly amazing. And what we know is that you, alumni, go off and do incredible things. You make the world a better place because of your Sacred Heart education. So what we ask of you is tell us your stories. Let us know what you're doing. When you can, come back, participate, be a part of our community. We want that. We want to know what you're doing because we know that you're doing great things. So again, sorry that we aren't together for our reunion this year. We really truly miss hearing you in the halls and hearing your stories and some of the shenanigans that happened when you were at Duchesne. But we know that everybody is safe, and that makes us feel really good. We hope to see all of you next year that had big reunions this year. We'll celebrate them next year. And then everybody, come back. This is always your home.